Hello and welcome to another episode of This Is Our Year. I'm your host, Michael Kurland. Joining me as always, Dougie Fresh, partner in crime.
How we doing, Mike?
Douglas, it's a Saturday morning
I
and
know.
no energy, and we're like
Are we
fired
awake?
up. And I'm definitely awake. I got a 7-month-old, so I've been awake for like pretty much the whole. But yeah, man, how you doing today? Are you drinking today? That's the first question.
Oh, I'm drinking. I'm committed to the cause. By the way,
Yes.
unscientifically, this is episode 49 to my count. So got a big one
Does
next
that
time.
include the secret episodes, or
Does
is
not
this?
include season 0, I don't believe, but I should check on that. Yeah, it's all on
Yeah,
that sheet we got. So
yeah. Double check that, man, because 50 is
yeah,
a big thing. You know,
50 to 5
we
0,
should.
not bad.
I will definitely drink at 5-0. How about that?
Nice. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you got to drink on all the anniversaries for sure.
For sure, for sure.
And we'll have to do a live one for 100. But I love when this stuff works out. Sorry, Dad. I have a beer called, and obviously this weekend's Father's Day. I'll let you talk about that in a second. But it's called Go Ask Your Mother.
Yes.
And this
That
guy
kind of.
is got a little #1 dad can right there.
Yeah, that
So,
guy kind of looks like someone we went to high school with. I don't know who, but is that like John
oh shit,
Lucci-esque?
I see
Is
it.
that John Lucci-esque right there?
Kind of is. If he was like a preppy Connecticut dad, which
Yeah.
not really.
Hey, in an alternate universe, he might be.
Yes.
He might be.
So anyway, this is who made this one? I don't know. I'm so tired. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I got this at 12%. We went there for my brother-in-law's birthday a few weeks ago, and I guess this is the last of the batch. I brought some home. 12% up in North Haven. Incredible project. They're on Instagram. They probably only deliver around here, but really good beer if you're ever in Connecticut. So cheers. And how is? Well, I guess you haven't done it yet because tomorrow is the big day, but this is your first Father's Day.
This is my first Father's Day as a father. Yes. So
What are you requesting? Do you have any special requests for tomorrow?
Man, honestly, so like it's June 17th today here in California, and I know everyone thinks that Southern California is the best weather in the country, and usually it is, but since January, it has been Seattle out here. It has been gloomy, rainy every day, and finally yesterday, I have an iPhone. I know, Doug, you're a Droid person, but on
Yeah,
iPhone
I
there's a
don't
weather
care.
app. Yeah,
I'll do it someday.
dude, we'll talk about that Droid versus iPhone in a second here, because I used to be a Droid person. My wife used to be a Droid person, but we made the switch, and yeah, I wish I had done it sooner.
Right.
I was an anti-conformist for so long, right? Or a non-conformist, right? Because I think
Sure, non.
anti-conformist would
Yeah,
be,
it'd be non.
yeah, it
Well,
would be
anti is interesting, but
a double negative, right? Like a
yeah. Well,
anti-conformist. Yeah, it'd be
no,
against conformists, right? So yeah,
or non-conform.
yeah.
Yeah, it's same thing. I think people say non though. I could use some
Mm,
garlic naan right now.
mm.
Mm.
Did you know that non actually means bread? That's the word for
That's
bread.
that's why I said that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Did you know that also chai also means tea?
Tea, yes.
So when you order a chai tea, you're saying I'd like a tea. And when you say can I have non-bread, you're saying can I have bread? And
Oh, I see. Yeah, I don't
that
say
was in
non-bread.
I don't
That's a
say
very
non-bread, but I definitely do say chai tea.
yeah, probably. I've definitely
So
said that
so but I
to
watched
white people.
to to white people. I watched Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, the new one, and that was in that movie, and I thought that was witty.
Oh, cool.
They
Yeah,
had an alternate dimension where the Spider-Man in that dimension was from Mumbai, and he was like a Bollywood Spider-Man. It was awesome.
okay.
He was one of my favorite characters in the movie. Have you seen the first one, Into the
Uh,
Spider-Verse?
I heard from everyone, including like non-Marvel people, that one was brilliant. And
Into the Spider-Verse was
I
brilliant,
haven't seen
and
anything, man.
dude, we got to get you off that couch over there.
I mean, the couch would be the perfect place, you'd think, but
we got to get you on that couch over there.
yeah, exactly.
All right, we got a lot to cover here of
What? No,
nonsensical
hold on, hold
non-sports
on.
bullshit.
Thursday. So,
Yes, I know. That's right. So I'm going back to Father's Day. Then we got Droids and Apple, and then we
oh
got
right.
the Spider Verse, which you're fucking up on that, as
And
well
I
as
have thoughts on Vegas too.
I want to hear about Vegas. Um, so Father's Day. Well, I don't know, man. Like we finally have good weather, but the baby. We're gonna have the baby with us. So I actually had this. There's an outdoor like little venue on the PCH called on the PCH on Route One for everyone that doesn't know what PCH is.
I would never
Um,
call it Route One. That's weird.
yeah,
But yeah,
some
go ahead.
people. Yeah. So
US
anyway,
one. Yeah.
US. Yeah.
Anyway.
So we are going to this place called Sea Legs. We had booked a cabana there last year. We were gonna like rage it out when she was
Yeah.
pregnant at some point in time, and just do like they have live music every Sunday. That's their
I'm
thing.
sorry. Oh, where this is north of LA or south?
No, this is in Huntington. This is right down the street, just
Oh,
North Huntington.
okay.
It's called Sea Legs by the Beach, and it's just this like music venue, and they do Sunday brunch with live music every Sunday, and they'll sometimes get mid-sized bands to play there. I can't recall if like anyone huge has ever played there, but like local California bands have played
Yeah.
there that
Sounds
you've
like a good
probably heard
spot.
of. Yeah, and so it's not probably there's probably like 500 people max that can go, but I mean
Perfect.
you turn around and you're looking at the Pacific Ocean and the sand, and then you turn this way and you're looking at this stage and you got booze and food. So we had this cabana from last year we never ended up using, and they were like and they're doing brunch with the Beatles, so some Beatles cover band on Sunday, and I was like, that sounds kind of perfect.
Yeah.
Beatles cover band right in front of the ocean with the baby and the wife having brunch and having a couple of
Sounds
mimosas and
absolutely lovely.
bloodies. Yeah, I can't. And then she was like, "What do you want to do after?" And I was like, "I mean, it's my first year as a dad. I want to come home and fucking cook some hot dogs and hamburgers. That's what dads do, right, on
Yep.
Father's Day. So
Classic.
that's what I want to do. Yeah, just you put on I don't know whatever. I probably won't put the Met game on because I won't want to endure the pain that is, even though they
Oh,
have won
come on.
two in
They've
a
won
row.
2 in a row.
Yay!
You see that Vogel
Yay!
bomb?
I did. I did.
Oh, that's
I
cool.
also
Yeah.
saw the Contreras home run that I was fairly certain was foul until I was.
Oh, yeah. That was weird. It, like bent around the pole.
It did bend around the
That
pole.
was a
So
bomb.
it was a bomb. That was a
So
bomb.
I was in Vegas and I missed the Yankees meltdown. Except I was actually literally on the plane home on Tuesday night, and I realized that the game was on TNT, and I realized just in time in the eighth inning to watch them, strand those runners there and lose. So you are right about the pain, man. um, a few days ago, that was we're kind of still at the low point, right? With the I don't
Yes.
know, we've won 2 in a row, but yeah, it's
Yes.
we can't pitch.
No. Dominic, the guy that we signed out of the trash heap, uh, is like our best relief pitcher.
Yeah, all of
And
a sudden, super.
that guy also looks like he just got off of his Father's Day chair and started pitching. I mean, that guy hasn't done a sit up since he got released from his last contract. So
God bless baseball players, man. I that's why I always wanted to be one.
right, right.
Um,
Oh,
excuse
so
me, ma'am. I'm not an athlete. I'm a baseball player. I think that was John Kruk. um,
let's let's
so
talk about
anyway,
Vegas, man. How
yeah.
was
So
Vegas?
like, and Vegas is great. I'm not complaining. I went. I had to go for work though, and I hadn't been there in like 5 years.
Right,
And first of all, you're right about the weather, man. It was like Seattle and Vegas, which is really like odd, right?
right. Hmm.
Like I put on the suit jacket over the jeans, and I had to walk from Vidara to Cosmo. You know, everything in Vegas is a walk, and that one's not even that bad because they're next door. But I saw it was sunny out on Monday with the jacket and the backpack, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna sweat my ass off. Let's go. And it was like a nice breeze. I was like, where am I?
Yeah,
So
yeah, man.
so anyway,
This
it was a work trip where I had to close the bars 2 nights in a row. So
dude. Getting too
I
old for that shit.
yeah, like I'm still dragging. Like I was wondering if I picked something up, but I think I just have not like slept correctly in the and it takes its toll. Yeah, plus I like had to go back to a full week of work, right? For
Yeah.
3 more days. So anyway, that got me thinking, and you may disagree with me on this, but and I hate to use this as like content because it's such like a cheap one, but you know those like question prompts on Twitter where like someone just like poses a question, someone with a lot of followers, and then like it's like in the replies and everybody like gives their answer.
Hmm.
um, I was, probably waiting for a plane or something, and someone was like, "What's something that everyone pretends to enjoy, but everyone kind of just secretly hates?" And Vegas is on the list for me.
Really?
I think because the people, the flight from here, the people, the fact I'm usually at work, and it's I'm not a gambler, so it's just like going to a giant like
I mean,
giant
uh,
mall in the middle of the desert, which I'd
I
rather
can
be
tell
outside.
you, yeah, you're doing it all wrong. The way you're going for work, which
Right.
I is exactly what
It's
you
the worst.
described. You're fucking working all day in Vegas, and then you're going out all night to these bars and trying to conduct business until and
And
Vegas.
it's the forced socialization part that is just exhausting for me for some reason. Like,
I mean, dude, well, you used to be a sales guy. You're still a sales guy. I can't,
I
right?
am, and I can do it well. Um,
Right.
but if
But
I had
you
my
just don't
choice,
want to.
I would never want to do this. I
Yeah,
would.
you just send fucking quotes, RFPs out, and be like, just sign them and send them back, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even that. It's the like I don't mind going out for work happy hours. I kind of miss that. It's
Right.
like, oh, it's 11 now. We're going to another club, and I'm like,
Right.
I'm 45, man. I'm enough.
Right. Dude, I can empathize with this because I just did this in Dallas, right? I went to our biggest show of the year. We had a big meeting with like a potential client that we're bringing, and I've been in on this deal, and I don't really do the deals anymore. I got a whole team that does it. I got a
Right.
great director. She runs the team, and like I'm comfortable with her handling everything. But this is an enterprise level deal with. It started with their VP and me talking, and then it's trickled down to now other
So
people
yeah, you got
from.
to be there.
I had to be there, right? So, but to your point, man, like you get, and so our industry things are always at like one of those gaylords, right? If you've never been, it's just like a
No,
fucking
I've been
bio.
to the Gaylords. Yes,
Yeah, so it's just this like
I have.
stupid biodome, and it has like
Yep.
5 restaurants and a
And you
pool,
never
and
leave. You're
you
there all
never
week.
fucking leave. You never
Yep.
leave, so you have no idea what the weather was like for the last
Those like
3 days that we
Turnberry
were there.
resorts and shit, like
I've never been to a
Rosenwood
turn.
stuff.
Oh, I've been to a
The one in
Rosewood.
Scottsdale.
No, I've been to the one in Orlando. I did the
Yeah,
Rosewood in
that's the one.
Orlando,
Yep.
and I think I did
I've
the
been there a lot.
Turnberry in Orlando too. But
Turnberry's in Miami, I think. And
maybe, but the
yeah.
but the Gaylord has fucking just become like the industry standard because it's Marriott now, right? And
Yeah.
so
I've been
I
to the
think
Nashville Gaylord for sure.
I've been to every single fucking Gaylord in the country, bro.
You are a
So
Gaylord frequenter, as
I
they call you in the
yes,
locker room.
your name
Sorry.
is your name is gay fucker. It's Greg. So
Uh,
so yeah, man. I went to the one in Dallas in April, and same shit, dude. Like you just get sucked into these like people, and everyone wants to close the fucking bar down. And kind of, I'll say kind of myself included because it seems like a fucking great idea when you're doing it because you haven't seen these
right.
people in forever. And then I just wake up the next morning like, oh, like to your point, I'm 44. Like I don't want to be up till 2 in the morning, and I don't want to be. And you're in Vegas, so the Lord knows what time you were going to bed. But
Yeah.
yeah, man, it's just when I
Well,
was in
yeah.
my 20s and 30s, I fucking could party like a rock star, dude. But
But like it was again, it was Sunday through Tuesday. So like I got there Sunday. We almost went to another club at like 1:30, and thank God we didn't because or thank God we didn't want to pay $50 each, which was kind of ridiculous at that point. It was a Sunday
right,
night. We
right,
would have gone in there. And so anyway, but I woke up and it was obviously Monday morning on the East Coast, and I had a deadline by like 10 a.m. Eastern time. So or I'm sorry, noon Eastern time. So I went to bed at like what 2:30, and I had to get up and like run numbers and like QA an RFP response, as you said. on like 4 hours of sleep and after
Ugh.
like 7 cocktails. So good times. But hey, look,
Vegas.
I'm not complaining. And credit to president of my company who was like, we're not doing a booth this year. These conferences, it's just about the meetings.
Right.
And it was. So it was a chill trip. But yeah, man, still feeling it. And
And I will
so
say, like
I
the
propose Vegas
Vidara.
is that list. Sorry, go ahead.
Keep going. I'll get to my point in a
I was going
second.
to say, can you think of anything that you secretly hate that you're supposed to enjoy? I have a few others, but
I do. But I need a little bit of time on that. I need
sure.
a little bit of time. So,
A lot of people were saying, obviously working out, exercise, jogging, LinkedIn. A lot of people are saying F1. Sorry, Jenny.
I've yet to get into that show that everyone raves about, but
Yeah, man.
uh, so working out and running like some days, but I enjoy it some days.
Yeah.
Yesterday was not one of them. I was on minimal sleep from the child, and I like choked down a Peloton ride, and it was not ideal. But I did it. So yeah, I guess yesterday I could have said that, but there's days where like I enjoy a good workout and sweating and moving.
Sure.
Um, I think sometimes practicing the guitar, even though I don't
Mm,
even do that anymore, but like I have this like mental block of I'm so bad at it, so why even practice? And so I talk myself out of practicing. But when I practice, even doing that, it's like my fingers freeze up because my brain locks up because it's a lot of movement at once until you
it
get it
is.
down.
The
Well, you get
learning
better.
curve there.
Yeah.
And if you don't get up over that first hump, kind of like surfing, I've heard, which I need to do. If you don't get, or like water skiing, if you can't, like there's that first bump on guitar.
Hmm.
Um, I don't play guitar enough at all either. So I'm with you. But
They're just
I find
shiny
that
objects.
relaxing though. That is a really good stress reliever for me. Like playing music,
When I'm
listening to music.
actually doing it, so maybe that's the
Yeah,
opposite. It's something I dread until I actually start doing
yeah.
it. And
And there's all kinds of things like that, right? For me, that's
yeah,
exercise.
yeah.
But then you're like, oh God, I thank God I was able to get through 3 miles. Done for the year. Oh
Touche,
man.
my friend, touche. I took the trip to Tennessee, and we took like 5 days down there, and I only worked out for three of them because the other two were there was like two travel days, obviously, and I just did like the recumbent bike, which is the old man sitting down bike,
Yep.
and that's all
It's
they
more
had in
my
the gym.
style.
Yeah, that's all they had in the gym, and like I ended up fucking listening to some book I'm listening to on whatever, and going at like 2 miles an hour. It was really I
Yeah.
might as well have just gone for a walk, right? But it was something to get the heart rate going, and then I worked out on when I got what was yesterday. Today's Saturday, so Friday. I worked out on Thursday with my trainer, and like I am, I don't know if you can relate because you say you work out once a year, but when you take a couple days
A little
off
more
and
than that, but
when you take a couple days off and then you hit a big workout when you get back, and like the day after you're okay, but the fucking
yeah.
second day is always the worst day. Like I'm in second day, like body is hurting. Also, my fucking kid is like I don't get jet lagged because I just have crazy energy and it doesn't really affect me. I mean, at least not domestic jet lag, right? If we
Yeah.
go international, sure.
Right.
But my kid did her first flight and she's coming back to the West Coast time after being on, Central time for 5 days and she cannot fucking sleep right now. And I'm like, you must be like, she's not sick. There's
That
nothing wrong with her,
sucks.
man. Yeah, dude. So she's been up all fucking night for the last 2 nights. And that's been nuts.
So both of us are basically fried today.
Right. Yeah. That's what
I'm glad we made it on because yeah, we're not going to do one next week.
Yes, we're hitting in that summer lull with the little
Yeah,
vacation. So
and
you so Vegas though, let me ask you this. Because you said you stayed at the Vidara. Why did you choose the Vidara? Or did you
because
not choose it?
the show we were like mingling around in was at the Cosmo, which is next door, the Cosmopolitan, the guy who booked it, I think, had some points or something with whoever owns those hotels. So I mean, that's why we're there.
What did you think of the Vidara? Have you ever stayed there before?
It was fine. As I said, it doesn't have much in it though. It's basically just a hotel. So like we were going over to the Cosmo. We went over to like Planet Hollywood.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't do the full tour this year, but I've been to Vegas so much I don't really need to.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
the Vidara I've stayed at before, and it's what I liked about it. It's a smoke-free hotel, and it's like the
oh yeah,
only
there you
place
go.
in Vegas that's smoke-free.
Yeah,
But
there's no casino there, right?
no, it's
Yeah.
literally a hotel, and it's part of the Aria though,
Hmm.
and I think
Aria's
that's
right
the
next door too.
yeah, I think that's part of
Yeah.
the allure of it. Is like I think Aria owns Vidara, and you can stay there if you are trying to not be
Be
in
a
the
scumbag.
smoke.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, I've been at the Aria a few times, and two people I've seen at the Aria, Miles Austin, just got just got fired for gambling on football as a coach of the New York Jets,
Did he
and
really?
yeah, yeah, he was
Oh,
fired.
that used to be your boy in fantasy too.
Miles Austin. I mean, I saw him at the Badar, bro. and fucking McLovin. I was in the Aria
That's
at
great.
some fucking whatever there's. I think I forget what the steakhouse is they have there, but
Yeah,
I was there just like alone having dinner, and McLovin and his like posse came in and they had dinner there, and they were like,
his
everyone was like,
posse.
"Yo, McLovin's here," and that's it. I think it's kind of great because I don't know that fucking guy's real name,
I have no
but
idea either. Yeah,
transcend. I know it's like a hyphenated last name,
yeah,
so
but I'm
already
usually
like
really good with that stuff. But no,
so homie showed up and like nobody there knew his fucking name either. Like that guy transcends time as McLovin for like he's been in a bunch of other like
he
I think his
has.
name's like Christopher Platts Mintz. Is that his name? What's his name? I'm gonna look it up because it's gonna bother me. Hold on. But yeah, so that guy shows up and everyone there uh was like, "Yo, McLovin's here for his birthday party," and Christopher Mintz Plasse. I was pretty damn
Okay,
close.
that sounds
Yeah,
familiar.
yeah. So right,
Mints.
but he's McLovin, and you still see T-shirts with the fucking Hawaii uh like
Oh yeah,
driver's license that says
we're,
McLovin.
we're we're stuck with all these pop culture references from the '80s through the 2000s forever. It's gonna loop. There's nothing except for Marvel.
Well,
There's nothing new coming out, right?
if
So
you are yeah, well, Judd Apatow kind of retired, and like everyone's
yeah,
like moved to being directors, right? Like
right.
all the guys that did great comedy when we were growing up. Some of that shit is not PC any longer, and
Some of it
I
hasn't
mean,
aged well. Yes,
the opening scene to Old School, dude.
I
Like,
was. Yeah, we have the same mind, and the taxi. You can't
you
you
can't
can't
say that
repeat it.
anymore. No, you can't.
Oh, but
But
shout out to Bob Huggins, by the way. Got another DUI last night. Coming back.
dude,
Go ahead.
I did want to talk about that, so I'm glad you brought that up. So this guy Bob Huggins, he's got to be like 75. He still
He
coaches the
is.
West.
I no. Because this stuck in my mind when I read it, and first of all, I was like, no way, and then I
Uh-huh.
was like, nice, if you know what I mean. He's 69.
Okay, so he's
You're
in
right.
his.
I thought he was like Bayheim, like 81 at
I
this
mean,
point.
is Jimmy Boeheim 81 years old?
He is definitely in his like mid to late 70s. I think. I think I could be off.
That guy has looked the same since we were
Yeah.
kids, though. Like he looked like he looks like Mr. Burns. He looked like Mr. Burns when we were in our
That's a
before
good
he even
call.
attended Syracuse.
Smithers.
Before that's what his
Um,
assistant coach's name was, or Jerry McNamara, whichever one.
yeah. Well, I mean, the same thing with Bob, right? Because he's been in a sweatsuit since like the late 80s. Just
Bob Huggins
fat guy
hasn't given a
in,
fuck
in a fat guy in a
since
tracksuit. Sorry.
right.
Yeah.
So he was at Cincinnati for a while, and why did he get
Forever.
fired Why did he get fired there? Because he definitely got fired there.
DUI and comments.
Okay, and then he goes to West Virginia and then calls the Notre Dame lacrosse team the same word that is in the opening scene of Old School,
And
and then
entire University of Xavier. Let's not forget that.
I mean it's not funny, but it's so. And then this
Right.
morning, like a less than a month later, gets a DUI, and
Yeah.
thank God he and like so after he used the non good F word for Xavier University and Notre Dame lacrosse men's lacrosse. On a podcast, which he was clearly drunk because you don't say that shit soberly, right? So he went on a podcast drunk and just
Probably
like,
not.
you don't think he was drunk? I'm
Oh,
sure he was
I
drunk.
no, dude. I like if we're being serious, he probably has a drinking problem. I mean,
He definitely has a drinking problem, but
multi
like
DUIs.
multi DUIs, multiple like comments, but like
Yeah,
you go on, so you go and like my point is, and it's really not funny, but like
right.
the only place that he could have survived the first thing that he survived is in West
West
Virginia,
Virginia. Yeah,
right? And so
and
so he
he's on
probably
like a year. Like they bumped him back to a year to year contract. He's already on like double secret probation, and now this. And
what do you think? What do you think his chances are that he survives this?
not good.
His no, I think he's. I think they're. I don't think they care. West Virginia does not give a fuck. So I'm willing to bet.
Do we get comments? Oh, I'm sorry.
We have,
Go ahead and make the bet. But
we have
I
no
think
comments. Nothing
okay.
on the live stream. So isn't didn't your
I,
brother go?
I was
Didn't your
seeing
brother
because
go to West Virginia?
yeah, like he's a huge fan, and we were talking about it this morning. Anyway, what's I'm sorry. What's the bet?
$1,
Oh,
Mortimer.
high
One
stakes.
$1 that he keeps his job. I will say he keeps his job.
Okay, yeah, why not? We'll check
Why not?
back.
Why not?
Cheers,
Um,
buddy.
cheers. Actually, you know what? Let's make it more fun. You have to do loser has to do a shot of tequila
On air.
on the show. Yeah,
Okay, I like that.
yeah, yeah.
Let's make it fun. Let's
Let's make it fun. Although the last time I did shots of tequila, I blacked out and the wife was not happy with me. So
tomorrow's Father's Day. I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do that tomorrow
you know,
or today.
No, I don't. I don't want. I don't want to do it either day.
I'm kidding.
We went to the CONCACAF
Yeah,
Champions League final
football.
football LAFC and over here versus Leon from Mexico. Which that whole the Champions League in Europe is the pinnacle, but they've done a good job in America if you haven't paid attention. And there's a lot of good stuff going on in football in America. Messi's coming
Well,
over
Messi, yeah,
to
it's coming to Miami.
Inter Miami, and that's huge because he's still the big. He's definitely turning 36. He's getting towards the end of his career, but he turned down like $200 million a
Yeah, he
year
did. Of
to go
Saudi
to
money.
Saudi Arabia and join Ronaldo and Benzema. And I'm
That
sure they're
was an
gonna.
L for the Saudis, and then the golf story came out, so I think they're doing okay.
It's a whole nother thing.
I just thought of a
reach.
weird parallel, and this really doesn't have anything to do with what you're saying, but the whole like soccer's going to blow up in America thing, I've been hearing since I was a kid. And it made me realize that, you know what else I've been hearing since I was a kid that it's about to blow up? VR. Soccer and VR. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if this is the time, right?
Did you order your Apple reality glasses?
I don't trust my brain in those things, first of all. But 3,500, no.
Yeah, no. So I think that's a good segue, though. But I like the soccer topic too, and I like the blacking out topic. We're all
this
over.
is
We're
an
painting
open
the board
forum.
today. We're painting the board.
This is an open forum. Mm-hmm.
Viewers, do you have any questions? No.
All right.
Anyone?
I had to check on the Huggins thing. I thought we might get a hot take, but
no, we got nobody. We got nobody watching.
Yeah, we got no. Hi,
it's fine. Hi,
anybody watching?
Hey guys. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in.
Who cares?
Right. We do this for our own mental health. That's all
We do.
So the
Wait. Yeah, you're not paying me anymore.
I pay you in beers, Doug. I pay you in hamburgers. Another. That's like a 40s reference, though. I don't know if anyone will get that.
Was that Popeye?
Yeah, it was Popeye.
Gladly pay you 2 hamburgers tomorrow for a hamburger today. Yes,
yeah,
something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, something like that.
What were we talking about? Android.
We were talking about soccer in America first. Then
Yes.
you gave me a nice segue into VR, but I don't want to get off soccer. But we're really talking about tequila shots and blacking out. So
True.
Forget about tequila shots and blacking out. CONCACAF is it's like Cup of Nations, Caribbean,
Right.
American, and Mexican, Central American
Federation.
And it's pretty cool if you are into football. Give it a follow, and I will tell you, like MLS has come a long way. It is up and coming. It is up and coming.
It's still regional, but yes.
but Apple TV bought their broadcast rights this year. So all the games now are on Apple TV, kind of like the
Oh, that's
Friday
cool.
Night Baseball.
I get
And
those.
the package is like $150 for the year. So I bought it because
Oh,
I
it's
want.
extra. You
Yeah,
don't
it's
just get it with
extra.
Apple TV.
No,
Ah,
but for $150, it's for me. I went to an LAFC game last year, and I watched the MLS Cup final, which was one of the better soccer games I've ever seen. And if you haven't watched it, you should go back and just watch it just to see
cool.
what the MLS has come to in, like, I think they're 25, 30 years into their existence now. They're
Oh
putting
yeah,
exp- they're putting expansion teams in like crazy, and they have quite a good amount of following. And yes, they're regional, so like it depend. If it
it
depends
depends
on
where you
where
are.
where you live, right?
Well,
So
no, no. I mean, speaking of Austin, shout out to Austin. I've met people there who are absolutely diehards for the team there. I forget the name. It's just Austin FC, right? And
yep,
and I've heard that the Portland Seattle rivalry is insane, like the
yep,
Timbers and the Sounders. So
yep,
it's kind of like NHL, right? Like a lot of the country doesn't like look at it, but
yep. And
we
then
got
the
diehards.
LA versus LA, New York versus New York.
Yeah,
There's
well,
some good
yeah,
rivalries,
for sure.
and they sell. They have these like 18,000 seat stadiums, so similar to NHL in that aspect too.
Where Philip Rivers used to play, right?
Oh yeah, that's where the Galaxy are at, the I don't know, whatever, that Dignity Sports Park or whatever. But
Right.
oh man, but I can
But
tell
yeah,
you,
no, you're right. Like MLS came on the heels of the World Cup in '94 here in the US. And that's
mhm,
what made me think of it because that's the first time we tried to get VR out, if you remember that.
I
Like the
don't,
mid '90s, man.
I don't remember that,
You had to
man.
be there. No, like you don't remember like the Virtual Boy and like the Lawnmower Man movies. Oh, come
Yes, I
on.
do remember
Strange
Lawnmower Man.
Days.
No.
Johnny Mnemonic.
I don't really remember a lot of this, but
VR was supposed to be the thing back then. And
dude,
it
so do you own anything VR related?
no. But back to Apple though. I mean, I've tried them and they look insane. But back to the Apple thing. Like I own AirPods. I own an iPad. I have
So
Apple
why haven't
TV.
you gotten an iPhone, bro?
I have one really, really petty reason. There is a Droid app that controls my iTunes that I absolutely love, and I do not see an equivalent with Apple. And
Okay,
I am,
so
but this is a big thing for me because like I'm that guy who's been collecting MP3s since like the late '90s. I have this insanely curated collection, library, jukebox, whatever you want to call it. And I don't know, it's just a little clunky dealing with it through Apple devices.
so
But that said, there's nothing like keeping me on Droid.
so what? And
Other
I'm
than
not.
that,
I mean, Apple is a big client of mine, so I am a proponent of Apple from that aspect.
it's a
I
good client
was.
to have.
It is a good client to have, and I was a Droid user when I was
Yep.
in Connecticut. My whole time in Connecticut, my whole time on Long Island. I got the iPhone 3 for literally one day, and I felt like Owen Wilson in Zoolander trying to open the
Right.
Macintosh,
Oh,
and I was like,
Jenny still laughs at me when I try to like do anything on her phone.
right, right. But then I had it for one day, sent it back, and I ended up going with the Android. What is it? The Galaxy. I kept going Galaxy, Galaxy, Galaxy,
Sure. Yeah.
and then I moved out here, and a my fucking phone kept locking up, and B, my service got shitty, and I don't know if that was a provider thing because I did have Sprint, so it could have been a provider thing. And I was just like,
You had
"Fuck
Sprint and
this."
a Droid. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
some loser energy right there.
it's like being a Mets, Jets, Nets, and Islanders fan. Yeah,
Here we are.
yeah. Here we are. So,
I'll
so I
drink to
switched
that.
over to I switched over to Apple. It was probably 2015 or 16, and I can tell you, I've never looked back. And
Right.
my wife then was also a Galaxy. I mean, she had that fucking big note thing. Like it was basically like a tablet in her back pocket. That was her
The
phone.
one that would spontaneously combust every once in a while. Yeah. It's good,
I think
good
so.
stuff.
So then she came over to Apple. She had started at Apple, went to Droid, and came back to Apple. And it's it's always about the camera or something, right? But I can
Sure.
tell you, dude, I've never missed that Droid. Um, Droid apps always were clunky to me, and I feel like,
They are.
yeah, because
Uh,
if you look at it, like, I know the reason why. It's Apple. You have to be approved to make an app. You can't just
yeah.
like make an app.
But
Anyone
companies
but
also like build their apps for Apple first,
right.
and then they get around to a Droid version.
Well, Droid also has open. What do they call it? Open.
Yeah, it's open source, so you
Open
can
source.
mess with it, but you also don't know what you're getting, right?
Hmm.
From third party apps. I
Hmm.
can't believe you didn't mention the biggest difference, and because I get yelled at by other people about something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
For having a Droid,
No.
it fucks up the text thing or something like the
Oh yeah,
green
yeah, yeah, yeah. The
posts.
great, yeah, yeah, yes. That is, dude.
Shout out to Jim Kane, who's like basically not my friend anymore because I ruin all the group tech. Like some people get really anal about that.
I mean, it's just, if everyone's on Apple, you can all use the same interface, and if there's one Droid person, then you
It
can't like
fucks everything up, right?
it fucks everything up. It does. It's
Yeah,
gotten
like
better, but
Doug liked this post, and it's
yes.
funny because like, and it's
Doug
like,
wrote, haha.
yeah, and like that happens in our like our fantasy like chats, right? But what's funny is like
It's not just you in the fantasy though. It's also other people.
eventually they like Android fixed it. Like on my side, I can hit the like emoji, and it's like the
Yeah,
laughing emoji,
it's
and
not
I
as
see
bad.
it,
It's
but
not
I
as
think
bad as it used to be.
it still
No,
fucks with the Apple users. So
no,
I
it's
don't know.
not. I think they've figured out a way to like meld it together. But probably
Yeah.
about a year and a half, 2 years ago,
No,
yes.
but people would be like, you know what, fuck off. Like I got cut out of a like vacation chat because like people didn't want to deal with it
Oh,
recently.
it was a elitist thing more than anything, I
They're
believe.
like we're just gonna talk to Jenny. We'll just let Doug know.
So so that
Petty.
literally that one. So the one thing I will say is like I used to have a humongous. We both are music guys. I will tell you, I've fallen off on music because I'm just so disappointed. I think I'm Father's Day is a perfect day for me because I'm turning into my parents. I'm like, oh, there's no good music out there, and we've talked about this on the show.
Totally disagree, but yes, we've talked
Crap,
about it.
crap, crap. I mean, you are looking for that indie stuff. I'm like, dude, you would
But I'm also going back to this. It's
right.
a
So
lifelong
like,
journey, man.
I haven't been going back to the greats, and I haven't been looking for the indie stuff. You know what I've been doing? I've been like headfirst diving into like Latin music,
Nice.
and
See,
it's just I'm listening
that's
to
what
like
life's about.
Maluma and Bad Bunny, and then all like Peso Pluma, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but it makes me wanna shake my booty. So, but there's some stuff we should actually trade some music tips. Maybe we should do that on the air. What the fuck? Maybe we
We
could
could do a
become the
music show. Yeah.
the indie music post podcast.
It's like, yeah, everybody calls me Indie Doug, but I swear to God, yes, that was true for a long time. Like I was intentionally avoiding like the Nickelback and the Linkin Park and all that back in the
With
day.
good reason.
I had to. It just got like the late '90s, early 2000s were a wreck in terms of popular music. I'm sorry,
So bad.
and I was a bit of a curmudgeon. I've come around on so much that came out back then, where I was like, I'm an asshole. Like, I don't know. Let me try to think of an example. I'm an asshole. Like, I didn't get who didn't I get the first time around? That's just I'm an idiot. It'll come to me. But I've taken a step back. I'm not anti-pop
Good.
at
You can't be,
all.
man.
No. But like there is a lot of bad pop music, but my theory on pop music
Yes.
is if it's going to be played a lot in public, I don't need to like listen to it at home. That's kind of always
Yes.
been my thesis. Like,
Well, and
and
but I also think with streaming now, like
yeah,
I listen to the radio very rarely,
it's just so
and
open.
when I do listen to the radio, I listen to, like, the local public jazz station.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
Support local radio. That's what I give $20 a month to a radio station in Seattle. I've done it for years and years.
Hmm.
That's introduced me to insane number of bands. And by the
Yep.
way, they have the best YouTube channel for like live performances in studio. It's KEXP for all you
You've told me
should be
about this
checking out.
before. Yeah,
Really good way to find things, and they're all over the place. But like
I
hip
agree.
hop in the '90s is a great example. I was a little more on the grunge, or I guess Beastie Boys side, and I missed like Outkast when it first came out, and I
Oh,
regret
dude.
that. Yeah,
So
exactly.
they
I
were
mean, and I
crazy.
made up for it in the 2000s, but like, sometimes I shake my head, like I willingly shut that stuff out for some reason. Because I'm like, however I bounced around as a kid. So music is a lifelong journey of discovery. That's how I look at it.
Totally. And I
And
do this. You definitely inspired me with K Jazz, and I give $10 a month out here to the Long Beach
nice.
State University.
And
Uh,
that stuff is really important too, like
it is.
supporting the actual people doing this. Don't give all your money to Spotify. Try to at least put some chips
Yep.
elsewhere,
Yep.
because I don't think Spotify is very good for the world.
It's so. Let me ask you that because that's where I was actually trying to go. Do you subscribe to Spotify? You
I do
probably don't
not.
do. Do you do
I
Apple
have
Music?
no. So this is where I get into this gray area, right? Where maybe I've been a little unethical. But I also make the argument that like I've found a lot of music by through piracy, and I've
I,
supported the artists that I love through it. And I'll say it's not great what I've done. And I have about 50,000 MP3s, highly curated on a couple of hard drives backed up, and that's what I use that app for because I'm always home. Great. I'll sit there and like DJ and just have things on random and move songs up and down to make it make sense. It's one of my favorite hobbies, just like listening to music. A lot of it was obtained without compensation to the artist, and I try to make up for it when I can. I try to buy records. I have some vinyl. I give money to that supports artists, and yeah, but there's a lot of bands that I never bought, but I have, and they're in my life. But you can also do that on YouTube. So
yeah, I wasn't trying to get into this existential
yeah, no, but like
conversation about
I feel like
piracy, but
I had to feel like I'd said that because like I made
it
my own
feels like
Spotify. Dude, like I built my own Spotify base just for myself starting in the late 90s. I mean, that's the
I
comparison.
feel like this
Like,
was a big breakthrough in your therapy this week, Doug. How do you
oh,
feel?
thank you. No, I've said this out loud before, but yes. By the
I
way, good
think
beer.
where I was going with this though is when I first got, when Spotify came out, I was like, yes, I am going to subscribe because I do have my curated Apple, but I didn't. It was that was one of the things that I think broke my phone. Similarly, when I had a Droid, was I was just get the piracy app of the week, and I would download as much music as I could on my phone, and then my phone
Yeah,
broke. So that could have been why it stopped working. So I stopped doing that because you can't really do it on Apple. You have to pay for it, and I'm sure there's a way to do it, but I wasn't interested in figuring it out at that point in my life. And B, then I was introduced to Spotify, and I'm like, oh, I have pretty much my whole
yep.
collection at the touch of my fingers. And then I did Spotify for a couple years, and then I started getting like I started getting to the end of Spotify. Like I would go down these rabbit hole playlists on
Yeah,
Spotify and find a lot of cool bands that way. But I'd also uh I would find some like to kind of cheer like bands that are in my life, but I was like,
right.
I never need to see. But
You kind of
I've
just
gone and
sample
seen
them.
some really cool. I've gone and seen some really cool bands that I never would have heard of before. I've gone to Jazz Fest. So anyway, I need to like give you guys my resume, but I will say Apple Music, right? Same like, and when Apple Music first came out, they pushed it hard, and it was like not great because they had curated a lot of
They hadn't.
non-popular stuff. But
I
I
stayed away from it
believe,
like the plague too, by the way,
I
because I heard they
believe
fuck
though
with your files. Anyway,
I don't know about that. Your files on your phone?
yeah. So like there's a thing if you connect your computer or you sync it. You know what I mean? Like it'll be
Mm.
like, we'll take a look on your computer, see what you have, and we'll add it to the library. A lot of times they'll add their version on the cloud and erase whatever you had on your computer. And what if you had like some live version of a song
I
that,
Now you're
you
getting
know,
into some shit I have no idea. But
yeah, all
I
right.
can
So
tell you
anyway, dude, I'm a huge nerd about this shit. I could do like 2 hours on it. Anyway.
I hate hey, we got to have tangents, right? So, how about
Yes.
those Mets?
How about
But
45 minutes in? That's
we
that's
talked about the Mets losing to the Yankees in two in a row. That's all that really matters right now. The fucking Mets are not good. They're not good. They're not good. I don't know
better
what's
start
gonna
hitting.
not hitting. They have started hitting a little bit over the last
They have.
few
Signs of
games, but
life.
their pitching is garbage. Their bullpen is
Garbage.
completely taxed. Somehow we're the only team with two fucking sticky hand reliever
Right.
fucking suspensions.
Great.
So it's just like there's definitely a target on our back. With all the money we spent, people don't like us, and they love
Yeah.
seeing Goliath fall. And honestly, I I can't go on like what this Met season has really ruined for me is I can't go on Twitter right now during the baseball season because it's just 20-year-old idiot kids saying fire Buck, fire Billy. And I will say thank you, Uncle Steve, for just coming out and making a statement that we're not firing Buck and we're not firing Billy. I don't manage my life based on the media and knee jerk reactions. I'm
Yep.
going to, the history says these guys are going to play better at some point. We're only a third of the way through the season. We're not out of it yet. So we're going to see how who can turn it around. And I really appreciated that because I think as much as everyone wants to act like he's this crazy money spending owner, I think he knows what the fuck he's doing. And I don't think he knows what he's doing from like a player personnel standpoint, and that's why he lets Billy Epler do that. But I think he knows what he's doing from a ownership standpoint, which I
Yeah.
think he learned from the Wilpons. Like, let the people that you pay to
Continuity.
do the professional job, and you can't fire Buck Showalter after a
No.
season and a half, especially coming off of
100%.
even if he didn't have the season he had last year, especially coming off the season he had last year. But like the guy is a Hall of Fame manager,
He
right?
didn't
He's
forget how to do his job.
no, and he's become somewhat of a curmudgeon with the media this year, and I don't know if he was always that way. I can't remember. Like when he was
Kind of
in
was.
Baltimore, okay, so I think he was probably sheltered. He finds the media mundane, and like he knows more about baseball in his pinky than anyone in the media probably does, and he's just like,
He does.
why
I
are you
think he's
guys
taken
questioning
this
me?
hard because he was having fun with the media last year.
Yeah,
So I think he's probably just taking it hard.
I mean, dude, his
I don't think he
entire
likes to lose.
he doesn't like, and his entire team is really underperformed. Some of them overachieved last year, and some of them hit their career. But the entire fucking team is underachieving this year. So what is the fucking problem? And like,
Right.
so it leads me to, it's a bigger issue, and I don't know what is it internal. Is it because they got a little taste of like the New York Darlings and everyone started loving them? Did everyone's head blow up? Like, does Pete Alonso think he's better than the team? Have they become bigger than the team? I don't
No.
know. I don't think so. What my fear is that the league caught up with them. They realized how they were attacking on offense and they figured out how to counterattack, which I think we've seen a little bit of that this year. They've gotten a heavy dose of first pitch fastballs because they know that they're taking, and then
Yeah.
it's fucking all sliders and off
Interesting.
speed shit. I mean, I haven't watched regularly since they went on that 7 game losing streak because I do that for my own health. I,
Right.
I get way too angry. Like, and I will tell you, side note, Mike Krillin of the Jinx, last night on my Peloton, riding my bike, 5 o'clock California time. So I was in City Field, so 8 o'clock City Field, fifth inning. Turn it on. I'm like, oh shit, it's 5-0. McGill's on the mound. He's only thrown like 52 pitches.
Oh yeah. You
Pedal,
know it's
pedal, pedal, pedal,
coming.
pedal, pedal, pedal. And Contreras is the guy that's up. Boom, home run,
Bomb.
bomb. And I'm like, the fuck, pedal, 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 pedal. Next pitch, fucking Jordan Walker
Double or
double. And
something. Yeah.
I was like, off. Turn the fucking thing off, and
And he
nothing
got
else
out of the
bad
inning.
happened.
He got
Nothing
out of
else
the
bad
inning.
happened. I was like, maybe it is me. Maybe it is
You
me.
are the mush, sir.
I will just stop watching. I literally tuned in for the home run, the double, turned it off, and then didn't watch it again, and then saw that they won, and I was like, all right, cool.
You still got it. You
I
still got
still
it,
got
bro.
it, buddy. Just not
Um,
firing remotes through walls.
just to take it back to your overall point, I agree with you 100% about Buck. I do think at the end of the year, Billy Epler's work and roster construction should be subject to review. I'll put it that way.
I think so. I think that anything that Billy Epler's done has come under scrutiny, and I don't think that we brought in. I don't think Cohen brought in this analytics department because the analytics department was invested in before Epler was invested in. We were looking for this. We were looking for this GM and president like hierarchy, and like Sandy became the president. We hired Billy because we couldn't find someone to take the job. If you remember this, this was
Vaguely,
before we
yeah.
hired Buck, right? Or did we hire Buck before we hired Epler? I don't remember.
Yeah, it's easy.
So whatever the case may be, Cohen owned the team for at least a year before either of these guys got put in their place, and that's
Cohen was
when
around for the Porter and the other guy, the two idiots that got fired.
Cohen was around for all that, and he was
Yeah,
around, and then he was around when Beltran got hired, right? And that was his first year. So that first year
what
he
a
was like
mess.
kind of like transitioning. He put Sandy back in charge to like right the ship.
Which
They
one was the
hired the
DUI guy? The Porter, or
no
is that
Porter was the sex
the
messaging
sex
guy,
text guy? Yeah,
and then Zach something
that's
was
right. Zach.
whoever was the DUI
Yeah.
guy, and then he sued the Mets for like wrongful termination.
Oh, he did. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know if he won or not, but
Zach Scott. There it is.
there you go. Yeah, both those guys. Sandy hires. Sandy may have been a good GM for a long time, but Sandy was definitely a country. It was
Not
a
even sure
boys'
about
club.
good GM for the Mets, but okay. But
He
yeah,
got
he
him to
was.
he got him to
He
a World
was.
Series on
He
a
was
fucking
Bud's
shoestring
boys.
budget.
Oh, he got lucky that year.
That's fine. That's fine. That's
Thank you,
fine.
Ioannis.
Thank you,
Um,
Ioannis.
Ioannis.
But
Anyway,
I don't think Epler, to your point, I don't think he's on a hot seat. I don't think either of these guys are on a hot seat. I think our analytics department. There was even a big. I don't know if you read the article this morning in on the Athletic about the analytics department has lit a fire under Tommy Pham, who's been on fire
yeah,
since.
no, he's been great.
Yeah, and they basically the analytics department tells Buck every day this is the optimal lineup. I don't know if Buck follows it, but
It wouldn't
Buck had a.
surprise me if he does.
I don't think he does. I think he takes it into account, but Buck took it was the series against the Cubs. The analytics department gave that, and then I think the Reds were next, and they gave the Mets the next 4 days of like lineups printed out of versus the probable starting pitcher of who the ideal person and the ideal lineup was. And Buck called like Pham and back and uh what was it, Canna and Escobar into his office, and he was like, I just want you guys to see this. This is why Buck shouldn't be fired. And was like, this says you guys shouldn't be playing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so just want you guys to know that's what the analytics say. And that's what I guess turned Fam's season around because he was like, fuck the analytics. I'll show you. And he's just been on fire since then. So that's
I
Buck.
love Buck. Yeah, if people are literally they're really saying that, I guess, aren't they? That's New York, man. Gotta ignore
They're
it.
saying they're like questioning his lineups. They're fucking. I mean, it's just so stupid. Like the team is
Yeah.
scuffling, and I go back to, I think the league has made adjustments to our style of attacking on offense, and I think the league has made adjustments to our style of attacking on pitching. And I think those two things we now need to make the adjustment. They're throwing a lot of first pitch strikes because they know that we're a patient team trying to take on base however we can get on base. And if we can get a walk, we'll get a walk. And I think by doing that, they're attacking the strike zone with first pitch fastballs, and we're not adjusting to that because that's not in our
Yeah.
mantra. So I can't tell you when I did watch this year how many first pitch fastballs right down the fucking pike everyone's just watching go by. So
And
that
you think that's I mean, I kind of like this. Like, you think that's a reason for the power outages with a lot of the guys here
I think that there's been a steady diet of sliders specifically to our hitters, and I think that
after the first pitch fastball. You're saying?
yeah, and I
Mhm.
think that specifically Lindor is chasing sliders out of the
Okay.
zone
Well,
at
he's
a
lost right now
at
again.
an epic rate, and
Another June where I'm not getting on him this year, but maybe I should.
yeah, I think
I
you
got
should.
him last year at this time. Remember that?
I
He went
do. I
off.
do. I think you should do it again. I think you should do it again. But
One more
I
week.
think with the I think with the pitching, dude, I think, is there something to this sticky stuff on the hands? Maybe. Because maybe our spin rates are down. I haven't looked at that. I am not able to tell
Well,
you. I think Max is.
I mean, Diaz in your bullpen helps the pitching look so much better. So we don't have that.
Right.
Um, People are rumbling about like the pitch clock affecting the two older guys. Do you bet?
I'm sure there's something to it.
There might be.
Um,
Max hasn't looked comfortable this year, right?
right.
I can't speak to Verlander, but obviously,
I think
we
Verlander's.
just missed his career year though last year. I mean, that's pretty obvious.
I also think Verlander pulled a pretty, as much as it's a minor injury, it was
That messed
in
with him,
his
huh?
throwing shoulder, and he's basically just finishing spring training right now. So for Verlander, I think it's just a matter of getting himself, back into the season form. He threw 117 pitches 2 starts ago. He gets bombed the next start out. Do you think there's a
Yeah,
coincidence there? I mean, I don't know why he needs to throw 117 pitches in a game right
I know,
now.
right?
I know our
Right.
bullpen's taxed, but like,
Yeah,
let's save this guy's arm because all this being said, we're still got a good shot of making the playoffs.
I know.
No,
It's crazy. Like you look at it, fourth place, but NL sucks. Like no one in the
NL
Central is
sucks.
good.
No, no, and
So
all it's going to take is a good like 7 game win streak, and we're
you
right
just, yeah.
where we need to be.
Thank you. Like all week, I do think about this show during the week, and all week I was say it feels like we need an 8-2 in a time span just to like wake up. Whether that's going to happen or not, I don't know. But if they do that, they should have no problem passing the Marlins and the Phillies.
No problem.
No, I mean the Braves are probably gone, but why
I mean,
not?
dude,
Why
the
not
Braves
take those
just
other two teams down? They
but the
can do it.
Braves just went through like a scuffling right at the same time we did.
Sure,
We just couldn't make up any ground.
that's
They
baseball. But
lost
like, I
two out of
will
three to
say
the
that
A's.
I will say, like, I do have a bit of a little brother thing with the Braves at this point, especially after that last series where they blew all 3 games in Atlanta. That was, have we talked since then? That was brutal.
Mm.
Those 3 Atlanta games where they were up in like the 5th or 6th inning each time. Um, the Braves are our daddy right now.
Well,
No?
I mean, once a cheater is a cheater. I'm sure that there's some sort of pitch recognition. There's something
Oh,
there,
yeah.
dude.
You think so?
Man, you can't.
Over at Truist Park or whatever the hell they call it.
That's what they call it, which is a nice park.
Truist.
But fuck Atlanta. It's such a terrible place to live. I'm just kidding. I don't know if that's true. It's just the humidity is gross.
Yeah.
Dude, they are really good at home runs. Really good at home runs. Like exceptionally good at home runs. They're
Especially against
also
us.
they're also really good at signing guys to under market value contracts. So
It's,
I don't understand, dude. They've cheated in the past, right? That's how they got Acuna. Um, I
oh,
think,
God, that's right.
yeah. Oh yeah. You guys cheated to sign this guy. Oh, you just got to forfeit like your signing period next 2 years. Like
Yeah,
no big
that's
deal.
they slap on the wrist, right?
Yeah, but they still got to keep the talent. Oh man. So I will say
Acuna
I don't
is
trust the Braves. I think that they cheat,
okay.
but maybe I'm just sour grapes, and maybe you're right. Maybe they're our
Well, I
daddies.
mean, it's been our whole lives, or at least since the '90s, since they moved to the NL East, right?
Hmm.
They pretty basically owned us, except for like 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, those 2 years they tanked to get Acuna, and then whoever else that they. I
Perfect.
mean,
Yeah,
how is that like every single draft pick from every single good player from Georgia somehow ends up on the
ends up on their
Braves
team
in
ever
like a
since.
third as like a third round pick.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh yeah, this guy's a third round pick. Oh yeah, we developed him, or did they take an under market contract to go to the Braves? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. How did Sean Murphy come over and sign like a
Yeah.
12-year, like $12 million contract?
Thanks A's.
I don't,
Thanks
I don't,
Oakland.
I
Thanks
don't get it.
MLB.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I don't get it, man.
Olson and
All these
uh,
guys, they're under market value contracts
yeah, like Michael
for.
Harris. He's 8 years, right? 8 years, something
Yeah,
like
he
80
he does
million.
stink this year though. So
He
maybe
does, I guess.
none of my
Did Vaughn Grissom
cons-
flame out too? I don't know. It's
uh,
always annoying down there though. So
always.
always.
But we'll see, man.
We're Mets fans. That's what we owned.
We got the draft. Oh, not the draft. We got the trade deadline. We do have the draft coming up. We got the trade deadline coming up.
Have they not done the
Uh,
MLB draft yet? I guess not.
no, that's in the next like week or two, I think. But who cares? They try and make that thing
Yeah, it's not a big
relevant, and
deal.
it's so fucking irrelevant. Kumal Rocker looked like we. I will say we've made some sound decisions. Kumal Rocker, Tommy John, Jacob Degrom, Tommy John. Like
Poor Jake. Shout out to Jake, man. I
I
don't
don't
hate Jake.
I don't hate Jake, but I won't give him a shout out. You know,
The people got a
he
little offended, but I just don't think he wanted to be here. So
no, he didn't. I do think he's kind of an asshole,
he's one of
just
the most
in
okay. Fine,
general.
you know what? Sure, he does not have a good personality, but he's one of the most dominant pitches I've ever witnessed in my life.
That
And
is true.
and I watched Pedro and Randy Johnson in the '90s. So
I told you I saw Randy Johnson the other day, right?
no,
Yeah, I guess he lives in Newport, and I went into my old me and my wife were out on like a Monday night date night randomly. We had coverage to watch the baby, and so we went for a bike ride or car ride down to our old town, Newport, which is like
yeah,
the next town
love it.
from Huntington. And
That's
we
it.
had this little restaurant right on the water called Flying Fish, and we know all the bartenders. They're all still there. We walked in. They're like, "Hey, where you been?" We sat at the bar with drinks.
Norm. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm fucking sitting there, and this couple, pedals their bikes up because Newport's a huge biking community. They
Yep.
pedal their bikes up, and then this fucking guy walks in and has to duck his head under the door frame to get in. And I'm like, is that fucking Randy? And I'm like, it looks like Randy Johnson. And I'm like, is that fucking Randy Johnson? So I pull the bartender's name is Vince. I'm like, hey Vince, is that who I think it is? And he's like, Randy Johnson. And I was like, yeah. He's like, yeah, he comes in here all the time. And I'm like, that's fucking cool. And so he sits down, and the only thing that I'll say is, I'm not going to run up and be like, hey, Randy, cool. Like, hey,
Right.
he
I don't
wanted to
like
eat
that
his,
either.
no, he wanted to eat his dinner in anonymously. I appreciate that because I couldn't imagine, wanting to have dinner with my wife and having a million people run up and ask for an autograph or just say, hey, how you doing? So I looked at him and I'm like, yep, that's Randy Johnson. But his wife, dude, I don't know if it's his wife or his girlfriend or whatever, but I don't know his status. So hopefully he's not married and this isn't his wife. But whoever he was with, and maybe it's a friend, I don't know. No one's listening anyway.
You heard it here first.
Was like 5 feet tall, legit 5 feet tall. So he walks in and she's like at his waistline, dude. And I was like, God damn, that's a weird looking, odd looking couple. But yeah, I saw Randy Johnson the other day. It was cool. Cool.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Anyway, Dougie, we've rambled for over an hour now.
Our time's about up. Would you like to schedule your next appointment?
Yeah, well,
No. Yeah, you're right. Like, I could do this longer, but I'll let you. Big Father's Day weekend.
that's right. I
Um,
actually got to work out with the personal trainer starting in about
ooh,
28 minutes, and I'd
that's
like
why
to.
you didn't drink.
That's why I'm not drinking exactly. So,
Well,
but yeah,
I've got
man,
a couple of Viacons,
let's do it.
Viacones. If you look up here, there's a picture of the American Southwest. That was actually painted by uh, Jenny's uncle. His name's Larry. He lives in Apple Valley, but he does paintings of like the American Southwest. The reason I'm saying that is R.I.P. or Vicon Dios Cormac McCarthy. Some say the best American writer of the last century. I haven't read
What
enough of his, but
what did he write that was pop culture that we would know?
so no, you know, No Country for Old Men, and you know The Road,
Yes,
probably. Those
I
two were like made into giant films, obviously. I've heard Blood Meridian is crazy. This stuff is beautiful, but apparently do not take it. It's not beach reading, man. It's bloody, and it's like it's the highs and lows of human existence, apparently. And I don't know enough to say. So I'll also do a second Via con Dios because I know this guy's gonna end up being good, right? Because we released him. Do you know who I'm talking about?
that's released him.
Yeah.
Mm, no.
The stash, Steven Nagosic. Watch him like close out the World Series this year. Enjoy Arizona, Steven Nagosic.
Did he get
We
signed
hardly know
by
you.
the
Yes,
cart
he is.
by
He
the
is now on
Diamondbacks?
the Arizona Diamondbacks. So
Hmm.
Paul Sewald
That's
too.
that's the end of the.
That's
Is
the
that
end of
the
the Sandy era, I think.
was that the Addison Reed trade? Who did we?
Yeah,
Who did?
or yeah, it must have been Reed.
I think we traded Reed to the
Drew
Red
Smith was
Sox.
Duda, right?
Yeah, Drew Smith was Duda, and Addison Reed was like Steven Nagosic and like
Some garbage.
two other like middle
Yeah,
relievers that never
I'm
amounted to
pretending I
anything.
can't do it, but I can do it.
You can do it. Who is it?
My fucking brain, man. Gerson Bautista and Joe Callahan.
And neither of those guys. I think that both of them pitched like an inning for us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We put Gerson in the Diaz, the Diaz for Cano trade, the
Oh,
Kellenic trade.
hey, that worked. Hey, and Kellenich still not doing shit, right? Or
I
is he
thought he
right
went
now?
off this year. I don't look.
I'm
I
gonna
don't want to
look.
look.
Let's look. Let's end the show with that. Jared
I heard he
Kellenich.
put it all together. He's like Willie Mays now.
Batting 263 with
Oh, he's
11
come down.
home runs. 11 home runs, 29 RBIs, 8 stolen bases. No, sorry. Yeah, that's let me just look.
Give me the OPS.
This year he is a 2 WAR with 11 home runs, 29 RBIs, 8 stolen bases, 263, OPS of 816, OPS plus of 130.
We could use that in center. Well, maybe not
And
with Nimmo, but
he's
he's like
about to
22.
turn 24.
Okay.
So not terrible. We could
Honestly, that trade wasn't as terrible as people made it out to be, just because Diaz has
no.
been so good. But
We always love
still not
prospects though on the Mets, and we have like this like weird affinity for people that have never, and it's a hard mentality to shift, right?
good. It is.
Because we have Brandon Nimmo, so sure, Kelenic be nice in left field or right field, sure. Would he have
Pete Crow
progressed?
Armstrong, that guy too.
Yeah, how's he doing? Let's look. I think he is.
He might not be in the majors yet.
He's not, but I can find his minor league stats from this
I know
year.
he's been highly rated.
He is this year is batting 291 with an OPS of 882, 9 home runs, 41
Raking.
RBIs, 16 stolen bases. Yeah, so that's pretty good, but that's in Double A, which he is very young for Double A at 21 years old. So he hit
Not great.
354 last year in A ball. So we'll see. We'll see how he develops. That was a bad trade. That was a bad trade. That
Ooh,
was
speaking
the
of
end.
music, there's new Queens of the Stone Age out, and I have not listened to the new Foo Fighters yet, but there's some old school rock bands that maybe
Queens of
you'll
the
enjoy.
Stone Age.
Yes.
Funny story, and we'll end on this. Their backup guitarist during their first few albums is a guy that now works for Guitar Center in their facilities department. So he is our client now, and he has a lot of good Queens of the Stone Age on the road stories. So he traveled. He like traveled with them and was
What, I'm sorry. What is his job?
he was like he was the backup guitarist. Like if one
No,
of the
no,
guys got
no. Like he works in Guitar Center now, or is he like a higher up Guitar Center?
yeah, he's in the
Okay,
facilities
I thought you
department.
meant he was like on the floor trying to sell guitars. I was like,
No.
that's what
He's a
happened, bro.
maintenance guy.
Okay.
drugs and
Yeah,
alcohol.
yeah.
So anyway,
Cocaine. All right, man.
lots
This
of
has been a
it. All
good
right,
one,
man.
and if
See
no
you in a
one
couple
watches,
weeks,
I don't
Dougie.
care. Yeah.
Well, we have 5 viewers now. So
What?
yeah.
You
Till
want to
next
stay on
time.
for an extra hour?
Nope.
No.
I got 20 minutes. Audience, till next time.
Bye, guys.